Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of our video newsletter. In this video I want to talk to you about the concept of it's a race to the courthouse. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you hear me talking about that concept pretty regularly, and I tell people how important it is to move as quickly as possible to secure their loved one's release, and that it's a race to the courthouse. So let me explain why that is. So if you've been taken to a Baker Act facility, they can legally hold you for up to 72 hours, but only if you meet criteria. What does that mean? It means if you don't meet criteria, they're supposed to let you go immediately. Okay, immediately. However, as you've probably heard me discuss, that sort of 72-hour window gets abused, and that's sort of the crux of the matter when it comes to the Baker Act. So the way we handle these cases is I want to file something for you as quickly as possible, and the reason for that is that if we don't, and the facility decides they want to keep you, they will file something too. They can go to court just as easily as I can, and they can file, and they will file, a petition for involuntary placement, which means, in theory, you could be court-ordered into a state mental health facility for up to 6 months. And I can tell you, it happens, and I've seen it happen, and I've had a phone call from somebody who's stuck in a state mental health facility for 6 months. And at that point, it's probably too late for me to do anything because they've already had a hearing, they've already had the right to counsel given to them, and the judge or magistrate has made a determination. They get to stay there for 6 months. It's too late, okay? So the way to handle these cases is to get to the courthouse before the facility files their petition for involuntary placement. And so if a hearing gets set once we filed something, at that point, the facility has to play defense. They have to answer to the allegations that I'm going to make, which is that they violated the Baker Act, that they violated your loved one's rights under Chapter 394, their rights to be free, okay? And quite frankly, in my experience, the facilities don't want to answer that question because they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. If you wait past 72 hours and you're willing to take that chance, okay, and the facility files something, then it's a different ball game because now you got to play defense. You have to respond to the allegations made by the facility and their psychiatrists as to the fact that your loved one meets criteria, that they continue to meet criteria, okay? And how do you defend against a psychiatrist who's saying, judge, the loved one of, the husband, the spouse, the wife, whoever it is, the significant other, they're still suicidal. They're refusing to take their meds. They're totally unstable. They're not safe to be out in the environment. How do you respond to that? Okay. Now, obviously, through handling many of these cases and through 27 years of practice, of course we can respond to those things. But why have to do that? Why put yourself in a position where you got to respond to their psychiatrists? Make them respond to you. Make them respond and explain to a judge why they have violated the Baker Act and why your loved one doesn't meet criteria and why they continue to hold them. Okay, that's why I say it's a race to the courthouse, and the one who gets to the courthouse first usually wins. Okay, and normally once I file something, not in every case, but most of the time, the facility will just let your loved one go. They'll capitulate. They've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and they don't want to have to explain to a judge or a magistrate why they are violating your loved one's rights. So if you decide, not to retain us, not to retain counsel, and wait and see if they, by the grace of God, they decide to release your loved one, that's your choice. But I'm telling you that it's a race to the courthouse, and the one who gets there first is probably going to win. With that said, stay safe and be well.